the southern coast of Portugal in the heart of the Algarve, a stretch of coastline transformed from the empty dunes and quiet fishing path into one of Europe's most visited resort destinations in less than 2 generations. Vilamoura wasn't discovered by accident. It was engineered, spot by spot, into coastal playgrounds of marinas, golf courses, and cliffside beaches. 6 locations explain exactly how that transformation happened, and the final one is the single reason the entire town exists in the first place. Number 6. Rocha. Tucked beneath sandstone cliffs east of the main resort area, Rocha, a small carved beach reached by a steep staircase carved into the rock face. Its narrow strip of golden sand and turquoise water sits largely overlooked by visitors who never venture past the more famous beach nearby, keeping the cove quieter even during peak summer months. The same ochre cliffs that shelter Rocha are part of the coastal formation stretching for miles along the section of the Algarve, carved over thousands of years by wind and Atlantic swell. Arriving before mid-morning secures a spot on the sand before the tide narrows the beach and staircase gets crowded. Number 5. Praia da Falésia stretches nearly 6 kilometers between Vilamoura and Albufeira, backed by dramatic red and ochre cliffs topped with umbrella pines. It regularly ranks among the most photographed beaches in Portugal, and its layered rock formations reveal millions of years of geological history in a single cliff face. The cliffs here are so distinct that they have become one of the most recognizable images of the Algarve coastline, appearing on postcards, travel guides, and destination lists across Europe. Erosion continues to reshape the coastline every year, meaning the exact photograph today will look slightly different a decade from now. Number 4. Opened in 1969, the Old Course was the first golf course in Vilamoura and one of the earliest in the modern Algarve, designed by British architect Frank Pennock through the pine forest and rolling terrain. It has hosted the Portugal Masters and helped establish the Algarve as one of Europe's premier golf destinations, drawing players from across the continent decades before the race of the resort existed. The course remains fully operational today, still played on the same layout that first put Vilamoura on the international golfing map, with many of the original pines now towering over fairways that have hosted professional tournaments for more than 5 decades. Reserving tee times well in advance is essential during Portugal Masters season when the course fills up fastest. Number 3. Vilamoura's main beach sits directly beside the Marina, a wide stretch of blue flag sand beach backed by a paved promenade lined with cafes and restaurants. Unlike the cliffside coves farther east, this beach was shaped by the same 1970s development plan that built the marina and golf courses, designed from the outset to sit as the center of the resort life, rather than be discovered on the edge of it. Sun loungers and beach bars now line nearly the entire stretch, making it the busiest and most accessible beach anywhere in Vilamoura. The stretch closest to the marina gets crowded fastest. Walking 10 minutes west along the promenade usually opens up quieter sand. 4 down, 2 spots left, and both of them explain why the stretch of coastline became a destination at all. Number 2. Behind the resort beach and marina lies in a green corridor of lakes, pine woodland, and walking trail that most visitors never expect to find in a coastal town built for tourism. Originally set aside as part of the same master plan that created the marina, the park now functions as a natural buffer and a habitat for herons, ducks, and other wetland birds drawn to the freshwater lagoon. Walking and cycling paths circle the lagoon for several kilometers, offering shade that is hard to find on the open beach nearby. And the wetland attracts enough migratory species that bird watchers visit specifically for the park, rather than as an afterthought to the coast. Early morning visits offer the best bird watching before foot traffic picks up along the lagoon train. Number 1. Every other spot on this list exists because of what happened here first. Marina de Vilamoura opened in the 1970s as the anchor of an entirely planned resort town, carved out of what had been empty coastline and fishing path just years earlier. Today it holds more than 1,000 berths for yachts and sailboats, ranged by restaurants, bars, and shops that stay busy well past midnight. The marina wasn't built to serve an existing town. The town was built to serve the marina, making this the single location responsible for turning Vilamoura from an idea on a planning document into one of the busiest resort destinations on the Algarve. Early evening is when the marina comes alive, as restaurant traces fill up right as the boats return for the night. From a hidden cave beneath red cliffs to the marina that built an entire resort town from nothing. These 6 spots trace the exact path that turned Vilamoura into one of the Algarve's defining destinations. Every beach, fairway, and dock along this coastline still leads back to the same plan drawn up decades ago, and each one still shapes how the town looks and feels today. More coastal transformation and hidden stories continue in the episodes ahead.